All right. What is up, traders? What's up, tycoons? Super excited for today's video. We're going to go over some stocks that have some interesting setups in today's video. This is basically my stock watch list. If you guys want to see more videos like this with possible setups, let me know in the comments down below, and I'll be happy to do some recaps like this. I'm also going to be dropping individual details, going over some of the fundamentals and a deeper technical analysis on these as well. So stay tuned for all of those. The first one we have on our list is LUV. This is Southwest Airlines. But before we break it down, as always, the content provided on this channel is for informational and educational purposes only and is not intended to be relied upon as legal, financial, or investment advice. Trading in stocks, bonds, commodity, and crypto involves significant risk of loss and is not suitable for all investors. So be sure to read through the full disclaimer. We'll go ahead and jump right into it. And so Love looks interesting here. To me, it appears we finished a 5-wave bearish structure here. Okay, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Something that I tell people to look out for is rounded tops and rounded bottoms. Those are bottoming signs and topping signs, right? We can see a nice rounded top over here, strong move down, rounded bottom, strong move up. You guys get it, you see it. And we did put in a nice little rounded bottom here. We established a small demand zone right above this 28 area into about $29. Let's call it about 28.25, so up to about 29. If we can get above 31.22 and hold that area as support from resistance, we do have a chance of targeting this overhead supply zone here right around the 32 to about $33 area. All right, and here you want to be cautious of a double top forming. We have a top here, and if we come over here and potentially put in a double top, you do want to be cautious just in case we get a rejection and head back down. But ultimately, there's room for a much bigger move if we are able to come up through here and break through that supply zone back up to the $35 to $36 region. So definitely watching Love right now. LUV looks pretty good. Let me highlight one more thing on the RSI. This level right here, 56.41, you can see on the RSI, it's been a topping point. And each time we've hit there, we haven't been able to really to go any more bullish. We are trying to break above that level right now. And if we can maintain above that 56.41 on the daily RSI, there is a chance that we could see that move up to that $32, $33 region. Next over here, we have staples. Okay, now staples I highlighted in a video before, right? And I went over the major levels of support, and you can see it's really been consolidating here right at this level. Be really interesting to see, the more times you test the level, 1, 2, 3, 4 times, the weaker it gets. Do we break down and head into our larger demand zone on the daily time frame here? Or do we get a nice little bounce? We have our fans on here, okay, and that's what these trend lines are. And you can see we're holding the fan trend lines very well as support and resistance. And if we can break through here and get above 73.52, that does give us room to head up towards 74.34. So 73.52, 74.34 are going to be some of the price targets. If you're trying to go long here, you can have a stop loss here right below 72. Okay, about 72.50 is right in your area where, potentially we break down below there. That's where we head to the demand zone. All right. Something really interesting here is the RSI and MACD. Each time it's been overbought, it's been followed by a sell signal on the MACD. When it's oversold, it's been followed by a buy signal. And you can see we have these sharp moves to the downside, strong moves to the upside. Okay, overbought with the sell signal, strong move to the downside. Over here, overbought with the sell signal, strong move to the downside. We're oversold again, and we're wondering now, are we going to potentially get a buy signal on the MACD for XLP? That could be a sign that we could move up again to the 73.52, 74.34 areas, if not higher. Now we'll take a look over here at XLI. This is industrials. Industrials looking like a diamond top breakout. Okay. A lot of times people look at these for reversal patterns, these diamond tops. But it appears like we're getting a strong breakout and heading towards that 104 to potentially 105 area. That's going to be an overhead supply zone, as well as up here just below 108. Those are going to be, essentially your two areas for price targets if you want to ride this momentum. You do need to be cautious of the gap down on XLI. Okay, we have a gap down here right around $98. Okay, these gaps, they tend to fill about 90% of the time. So you do need to be cautious of a false breakout and then a move back down into this gap fill. On the RSI, we did break a major trend line that we've been really staying behind. We had some initial bearish divergence where we had these low or these highs, these higher highs, and we created these higher highs, all right, on the price of the stock. But what we saw was we were actually creating lower highs here on the RSI. This is a simple term known as bearish divergence, right? And you can see we really have been rejecting that trend line. It ended up causing a pretty sharp drop in the price of XLI here. Once we hit this overhead supply zone, we saw it drop from 104 all the way down to about 95. And now we're breaking through that bearish divergence trend line, and we really want to see, the RSI can move sideways or continue heading upwards. If we get a look above and fail, that's going to be a bearish signal and show you guys that bulls had the opportunity to take control, and they're not in control, and sellers are in control of the price action. If we move over here to FUBO, FUBO looks pretty interesting as well. Possibly seeing an ABC structure, a bullish structure here. We have a 1, 2, 3. These are going to be some of the price targets at 240 and 265. Really hugging the fan trend lines right now. Okay, you can see we're hugging just above this one here. 192 is that major resistance. We were able to bounce off of the fan trend line here. All right, so 192, 169, those are going to be the major levels that I'm looking for right now. Above this trend line here, we really could see a breakout and a strong move for a C wave up to that 240 area. Obviously, with $2 and 220 going to be a pretty big supply zone area of resistance we need to get past to break the hurdle. Below 169, we have 155 and 144, 141 as support levels. So it'll be interesting to see what happens here on FUBO. If we move forward to DIA, all right, this is the Dow Jones Industrial Average. We took a look at XLI earlier. XLI looked pretty good. We have an inverse head and shoulders right here. I'm looking at a larger macro ABC structure, potentially taking it up to 370 later in this year, right? Maybe by the end of summer or later in Q4, we could see possibly the DIA head up to that 370 area. Shorter term, this inverse head and shoulders right here, that could take us to 347, if not 353. So definitely pay attention to the industrials right now. The Dow Jones and DIA and XLI look pretty good. We'll see if that can continue, or maybe if this is some of a fake out. If we get a little bit more complex here and throw some of the fans on the same chart, we can see we're really bouncing in between this area here, hugging between a few trend lines. If we can get a nice little breakout, that really clears the path up to 347. There's about, 2 trend lines here that we really need to break on the fans. And, it'll be really interesting to see what happens here in the Dow Jones Industrial as well. If we take a look at ULTA, we have the fans on here as well as, some of the major levels. There's this huge gap down, okay? ULTA has recently dropped over 27% to its lows, and it came here and bounced off the fans. Now, it needs to get above 425.25 to really go bullish, right? If we can get above this level, that's when we have the chance of filling the gaps up, okay? This huge gap up to fill. Remember, gaps fill about 90% of the time historically, but the big question is, are we going to head towards that gap fill, or are we going to continue heading lower? We have this fan trend line here. If we break through there, very strong chance we head down to the 380 region on ULTA. 375, 380 is definitely going to be a possibility, but that's our key demand zone really to the downside. So 425.25 is the key level to watch out for. If we can flip above there, flip that to support from resistance, we do have the chance of going higher. ULTA has been oversold for a little while here. We'll see if we can start to develop a little bit of a bullish divergence there. We have ARK. All right, this is Kathy Wood's flagship fund. Very nice breakout here, okay? Also similarly looking for an ABC type structure. We bounce, right around that 61.8% retracement level. We have an overhead supply zone here that we rejected a few times in the past, as well as over here in February. That's going to be right around that $45 price area. So be cautious if we do come up to 45 of a pullback. But if you notice, it's kind of putting in a triple top at that area if we come up there. And, we could end up seeing it break out and hit 47.18, potentially even $50.57. Again, seeing that nice rounded bottom here, you could call it a double bottom as well. And then we also broke this trend line here. You got a clean breakout, retest, push higher on the RSI. So things are looking good. It did hit overbought levels, so we'll see if it really starts to pull back strongly, or if we just get a little bit of sideways consolidation to continue moving higher on ARK. This is SLG right here. This is a pretty interesting company. This is a commercial real estate stock in New York. You can see we've started to put in this bullish channel here. Now, you need to be cautious that this could be one giant bear flag, okay? That's definitely a possibility here. But for now, we're breaking some of the fan trend lines. We're moving higher right around here in this area, okay? Right around $27 is going to be a pretty key area. We have the top of our bull flag, as well as a fan right here, a fan trend line. If we can get a breakout or continue trading in this bullish channel, we do have potential to hit 28.96 and 31.97, really around that $32 level. So 29 and 32 are going to be some bullish price targets if the momentum can continue in SLG. What's really interesting about this one, if you zoom out and take a look at the macro, like a weekly chart, again, it looks like we're completing a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 bearish structure, and we bounced right here in this demand zone that we bounced and created in the great financial crisis. Okay, there was a 94% drop from peak to trough. All right, during the great financial crisis, and here again, we had an 87% drop, and we came back down to that key demand zone. And we also had this bullish divergence. When I dropped the SLG video last time, I highlighted we have these lows here. All right, we have these lower lows here, and we've really been creating this bullish divergence trend line. You can see on the weekly RSI, we're starting to get that push up. It has been a nice little trade here. Okay, so hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, smash that like button, subscribe to the channel. If you want to see more setups, different things that I'm looking at, let me know in the comments below, and I'll be happy to drop some more of these style videos.